Kia ora, good morning. Um, I just woke up, so you just have to forgive me. And also, I haven't eaten yet because I've literally just woken up. I've just made my coffee and I haven't eaten. So if you hear my stomach going, I had a very light dinner last night. But what I will say, if you're British and you have access to a co-op, go and buy their Yorkshire roast chicken Provençal soup, I think it is, because I wasn't very hungry, so I just got myself some soup. Usually I make my own soup, but I'm so tired at the moment, and my scars are killing me. So I got myself some co-op soup. Get yourself this co-op. Oh, it's not co-op. You buy it at the co-op. It's not co-op's brand. It's the roast chicken Provençal soup or something. Absolute. Oh my god. Oh my god, get it. So I only had soup last night, so my stomach is just starting to get hungry and it's going to start screaming at me any minute. So if you hear grr, 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 grr in the background, it's just my stomach. Now, I'm letting my coffee brew, but I had a really disturbing dream, but it's not bad for us, put it that way. I had a dream I was in this house. I don't know this house, I've never seen this house, never been to this house, this is not a real house. And in dreams, when you dream of buildings, it's how you see yourself at the time of the dream. And this was a strange house. I I was there because I knew it, but it wasn't mine or connected to necessarily anyone that I knew. So it wasn't like my sister's house or my parents' house or anything like that. But I was there because, like, I was invited. And when you have dreams where you're in a house like that, you're not wandering around lost. It's not, you're not scared or anything like that. It just means that that you're in a situation that you're being witnessed to. You're in a situation like a public situation or a situation that is known about, that you're a part of or being a witness to, right? So that's what that means. And all of a sudden, this fight broke out. And they were all stabbing each other. And people, there wasn't a person in there that wasn't covered in blood, but there were some people that had massive gouges, like in their backs, in their chest. There was like blood everywhere. Chaos had broken out. And I was trying to wrap pillowcases in that around this woman's arms and hands. And as I was trying to, stop the bleeding and trying to like help, Brother Michael put his giant hand on me. Michael, Archangel Michael. Whenever I dream about him, just think of like a 7, 8 foot version of Arnold Schwarzenegger when he, like in Conan, but blonde and very authoritarian. Michael does not have a sense of humour. He's very by the book. He's like one of those police officers that when he's on duty, he takes everything very seriously. He is like by the letter of the law kind of archangel because he's very serious about taking devils and demons down. And this is important. This is important to remember that he showed up in my dream. He put his hand on my hand and he said, "Don't." And I was like, "Don't what?" And he goes, "Don't help them. They are on their own." And so I felt this panic in my chest thinking, holy crap, what the hell's going on? And he said, you've done your bit. Now it's up to everybody else. And he said, the wheel has turned and now it's his turn. And when he pointed and I looked, Keir Starmer was standing in the backyard, so trying to hide. When you dream of the backyard, it's trying to keep things away from the public. And he was covered in blood the most. He was so covered in blood, I only could tell it was him because he took his glasses off to wipe the blood from his eyes. And I could tell, like, he was shaking. His whole body, if my phone cuts out, you'll know. He was physically shaking, and he was saying, why won't anybody help me? And he was absolutely terrified. It's like he knew he was about to, it's like he knew the ground was about to open up and swallow him whole. And the fight had spilled out onto the street, and there wasn't anybody that wasn't covered in blood, except Keir Starmer was covered in blood the most. And as he backed into the corner, it's like he was, he knew he was being cornered. He knew he was cornered. Even through, like, his grey hair was pink, I could tell, even through all of that, he had turned as white as a ghost. It's like he'd seen a ghost. It's like Satan had turned up on his doorstep and said, right, come on, you're coming with me. And he kind of lowered his head, like in defeat, like he knew, I can't fight this anymore. With his hands behind his back, even though I couldn't see, it was like he could see who was leading him away, but nobody else could. And kind of started walking away and got, I don't know if he fell into the fence or got pushed into the fence, but the part of the fence that he landed on had a Ukraine and a Russian flag on it. But when he fell into the fence, when the fence hit the ground, it's like the ground opened up and he just went down head first. So this means is, I don't know if it's like a fight on social media or something coming out on social media, something coming out in the public eye that's going to have everybody turning on each other, because that's what stabbing means. But it's like stabbing is verbal attacks, accusations, truths coming out that are going to affect many, many, many lives. And these people did not look like civilians. They look like, sorry, I'm just pouring my coffee. They look like politicians. They look like business people. They look like people who do daily business or have dealings with Keir Starmer. And they were all turning on each other. That's what that means. Their hands were covered in blood. So it means that something is coming out about Keir Starmer in regards to the war in Ukraine and Russia. He's done something. It could be to do with, that court case that's coming out. But if Michael was there, it means whatever it is that's coming out is so bad that these people know that they can't defend themselves from it. There will be no excuse. They're not going to be able to say, oh, it's AI, or oh, it's fake news. Like, they're not going to be able to say it. So what they're going to do is they're going to turn on each other. One of the things that people don't realise about Michael is that he doesn't just fight devils and demons, right? He also exposes them. So it means something's coming out probably about the Labor government and all the people that he's associated with that is so bad in regards to Ukraine and Russia that even he knows. It's like he was taking himself to the court. It's like he was taking himself to the karmic courts. And the karmic courts is Satan. He knew he was going to burn in hell. He knew he was going down and was never, ever, ever going to be able to recover from what's coming out. And it reminds me of that dream I had with God and Allah. Remember when I handed King Charles that lunch because he was like a little boy in school, and I was saying that that's a warning to keep away from, like, keep your distance from, like, it's time to sever ties. That's what that means. If you ever dream you're at a school, it means that it's time to sever ties with people. And I handed him this lunch, and then I had to get up this big hill and remember those Muslim people with the other people in the background inside that house were absolutely kicking the crap out of those like 5 or 6 people. Now we know that's Iran. Now we know what that's all about. Well, it's like Michael said, it's his turn. Now it's his, you've done your bit. And when he pointed, that's what he said. Now it's his turn. So they're dealing with Donald Trump, and now it's Starmer's turn, and that turn, and that's exactly what I've been saying. Trump first, Starmer next. So whatever Starmer's done, it's so bad that other people are going to start publicly turning on each other in order to avoid, because he was in the back of the house, he was in the backyard, and they were on the street and in the house and that. So it's bad enough that they won't help him because they're going to be too busy trying to deflect blame and deal with the fallout of their own consequences. And like with Trump, Starmer's going to be left all on his own. And when that happens, he knows, holy shit, what have I done? Like in that moment, that which is why even under all that blood, I knew he turned as white as a ghost. What the hell have I done? And it being too late to do anything. So it's spilling out onto the street, meaning something that's going to be reported that everybody knows about. Like it becomes, just like with Trump, with I'm Jesus, like it's going to become, like everyone's going to know about it. And nobody's going to defend him. Nobody's going to help him. Just like Trump. V for Vendetta meets LA Riot. Everybody else was like, had blood on their faces and on their bodies and all that, but he was literally covered head to toe. So it's something he's done that other people got involved in. But he's the one that's going to get the blame. He's the one that's going to be held responsible, and no one's going to help him because they're all going to realise this is your fault. That's why he was pushed to the corner of the backyard. This is your fault, we blame you, and they're all turning on each other. But you told me we'd get away with it, but you told me that this wasn't illegal, but you told me blah, 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 all turning on each other. But because it's spilled out onto the street, it means that their arguments are going to be made public. We're going to see them all turn on each other in public. This isn't a fight that's going to be behind closed doors. It's something that comes out on social media or on the news that's so bad it becomes like publicly known, like around the world. And remember, I always said, I keep seeing him getting arrested where his face in the back of the cop car is all over the newspapers. I can still see the gashes on the people's backs and on their chests and that, and I wasn't allowed to do a thing. I'm not allowed to do a thing. When it happens, when it kicks off, I'm being told, step back, don't do a thing. It might involve people I know. It might involve, he did get people I know involved. But whatever it is, there's absolutely, like it's orchestrated by God. There's nothing I can do. I'm not allowed to jump in and say, use this law, use that law, do this, do that, like I usually do. Michael stopped me. So these people are going to be left on their own. I have to abide by the laws of God's contract. We're only allowed to intervene when we're sent to intervene. I call it sitting in the prayer position. Like a knight, I kneel with my sword and I sit and I wait until I'm called to act. And then I go back down in the prayer position and wait for orders. Everything I do, everything I post, or I'm given direct orders. There's a lot of stuff I don't want to post, but I do anyway, because it puts me in danger. But I'm protected. So yeah. So Michael pointed to him, and he said, "It's his turn. Now it's his turn." And he knew it. Like, holy shit, what have I done? Like I could feel his fear. His whole body was shaking. And the fact that he was pushed into the corner as well means that he has no protection. Not only is he exposed, but he has no protection. No, like people were keeping a wide berth. They were pretty much taking everything to the front of the house and onto the street and leaving him by himself, which means even his own friends and family won't help him. So whatever it is that's coming out about Ukraine and Russia is bad enough that he's going to be the most isolated political figure in the world. The world's going to turn on him. I'm wondering if it's to do with that court case with the Ukrainian rent boys, or do they know more than they're letting on and it's about to become public? Or is it worse? So he's done something in regards to this war in Ukraine that is either illegal, I mean, obviously sinful if Michael's there. Like, it must be bad. It's got to be bad. So it has to be to do with trafficking, biochemical weapons, which we already know he was involved in, because remember, I found the evidence for that and took it to the ICC. It could be to do with Chernobyl, because I said he was involved in that. The leaking radiation to kill millions of people around Europe and Asia. Something's coming out anyway. Something's about to be exposed. Michael's exposing it. His sword is the sword of truth. And so he exposes the truth. He shines the light on the sins, on the devils and demons, and then, spears them, goes after them. Archangels shine the light on the darkness. They expose it. Like Seraphael, with all his eyes, he's got eyes everywhere. He sees everything. With his beautiful golden wings. And that gold, when it lights up, he lights up like a Christmas tree light. So whatever's coming out doesn't just expose him, it exposes everybody involved in it, who are all going to turn on each other publicly, and some of them attack, like some of them aren't going to recover from this attack, from them all turning on each other, finger pointing, I call it conscience confessing. the conscience confessing to sins without even realising it. So in their arguments, and they're fighting each other, they're going to confess to things they don't realise they're confessing to. And that's what happens when you're in the presence of God. Devils and demons can't stop themselves from telling the truth in the presence of God. They can't hide their sins when they're in the presence of God, and that's what they were doing. Their conscience was confessing to things they didn't realise they were confessing to while they were turning on each other, but it all being witnessed by the public. But whatever it is, Keir Starmer is going to be held solely responsible for it, or he's the reason why these sins were committed. He's the one that put them up to it. But it involves Ukraine and Russia. And when it comes out, he knows there's nothing he's going to be able to do to fight it. There's no court in the land that is going to let him change a law, bring in a law, stop him from going to court, like nothing. So that was the dream. And whatever it is that comes out, I'm not allowed to help anyone. Anyone involved, even if I know them, I'm not going to be able to do a thing. Following the contract. I do as I'm told when it comes to God. So does Michael, but he's more serious about it. When I write my movie, Holy War the movie, I've put Michael in there. I wanted my son Thomas to play him with his luscious locks. He might not have them now that he's in the Air Force, but you'll get to know who Michael is, and Raphael, and Sir Raphael. Like, you'll get to know who they are, who their personalities really are in this movie. And Michael's adorably serious. Very protective, overprotective. I'm just a little girl. So, there you go. So he's letting me know that I'm safe, that I'm protected, he's got my back. But that now it's Starmer's turn to go down. Whatever it is he's done, he's tipped the scales now in the wrong direction. So now it's time for him to go down. Because Trump's been lifted up and removed, now it's his turn. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Just prepare yourself because it's bad. I'm guessing it's probably got to do with chemical weapons, Chernobyl, or children. And this is an Epstein war, so it wouldn't surprise me. But it's about to come out, so just get ready and prepare yourselves. But just remember, this has been done to get rid of the lot of them, so that we can tear it all down, wipe the slate clean, and start again. That goes for America and Europe too, because then after Starmer goes, the EU, von der Leyen goes. So I'm wondering whether it's got something to do with this war. They're about to be exposed for something that's so bad that when Starmer goes down, it takes the EU, NATO nations fighting Russia down with him. It's going to be pretty bad. These gashes, you could see bone and everything. Like they weren't just like slices across the back. These were gaping, seeping wounds. Where it was so deep the blood wasn't red, it was pink. And you know, the deeper the cut, the lighter the blood. That. So just prepare yourselves. Right, so I'm going to go and finish my coffee and then have my breakfast. My toast should be done now. So I'll speak to you later. Oh, another thing as well. I think I got confirmation yesterday that I'm not going to Switzerland. I don't know where I'm going at this point. Maybe God does want me in America, and I'm not going to be unhappy. I'll happily go wherever God wants me to go. But I got two signs yesterday that maybe I wouldn't be welcome, or that because Donald Trump, there was a video of Donald Trump arriving in Switzerland, and I thought, oh, I don't like that because the WEF and Davros and all that anyway. And then I got something else happened where I thought, okay, maybe I've read the signals wrong. Maybe I've read this wrong. Maybe I've misunderstood this whole thing. I might have to take Switzerland off the list. So that leaves Russia and America. But I have no signs or signals that it's Russia either. So God might be pointing me towards America. And I'm not going to be disappointed. It's just that I'll always wonder what would have happened if I had have set up shop in Switzerland or Russia. And it doesn't mean to say that I can't in the future. This is all based on where I'm to build my flagship school. Who gets the flagship? Wherever I put my first flag is going to be the flagship from which all other stores and schools grow from. So, and I'm genuinely, I'm not going to be unhappy if it is America. If America wants me there, and I know that they would be absolutely the country that would be 100% supportive of the children, because Americans are very loving like that. There's just a little part of me that would be a little bit sad to think, because the thought of going to Switzerland brought me peace. But after what I saw yesterday now, I was always told if ever you have second thoughts about something, it's not right. And now because I'm having second thoughts, so I'm being told it's not right. Just because I want something doesn't mean it's what God wants, and I'm a servant of the Lord, so I'm a servant of many gods, but He's the one who's Jesus is taking the wheel on this one. So it's not Odin or anyone like that. So where He leads, I follow, and I know that Russia's about to become very safe and secure, and they won't need my protection anymore. They're going to be fine on their own. I'm hoping one day I can do business with them, but in the very least, film movies there, at least two. But I think Switzerland's not going to be my home, which is sad. But I don't know. I don't know what God's plan is. I'm not trying to control it anymore. I'm not. I'm not trying to drive the bus. I've let Jesus take the wheel, and He's doing a pretty good job if you've seen what He's been up to the last 2 days. And so now that Donald has been crucified, it's Starmer's turn apparently, and it's equally as bad as everything we know Donald's been getting up to. So it's bad enough that it topples the EU as well, and they all end up at The Hague. So it's bad. So just brace yourself, and I'll just wait to see what door opens now. It's either America or Russia, because the door to Switzerland's been closed. That was made very clear yesterday. So, whatever. It must have just been a holding cell. While focusing on Switzerland, I learned to compose music. I came up with loads more movies and stuff, so Maybe it was just to focus on Switzerland long enough for it to find me peace and closure. Because focusing on Switzerland brought me closure to a lot of things as well. So let's see what happens next. But for Keir Starmer, let's just keep watching, eh? Like I've been saying on social media, don't take your eyes off Keir Starmer and Donald Trump. Well, we can't help but watch Donald Trump at the moment. He's like, they're calling for him to have a psychiatric evaluation, which is hilarious because remember, that's what they did to me. Everything they tried to pin on me is now coming back on them. So now it's Starmer's turn, apparently. So let's see what happens. I just hope the king's okay. My heart's broken for him because we're going to lose our king. And I grew up with a monarchy. It's just so sad. He should have listened. He really should have listened. I really wanted to see William be king. I think he'd be a brilliant king because I had that dream with William being king, and him and Catherine didn't do all they did. They just lived in like a normal house, not a castle. It was like a like not like, it wasn't a palace. Like it was like just like a beautiful big stone house, and I remember it had like an arch door in the wall, and they came out onto the steps and they were giving a press conference, and Catherine looked like she was 30 and William was glowing. And they were so happy. They were so happy. And they had a little baby girl with them. Now, I know that it's not necessarily that they were going to have another baby. It could mean birthing something brand new, that they were birthing something brand new, and all they were focused on was their charities, their mother's charities, their charities, and reassuring the public, being the king of the people, and not doing any of the royal protocol bollocks. Not that it's bollocks, but not doing any of the royal protocol stuff. He was like a new king for the new world. That's what I dreamed. And in this new world, there was no pomp and ceremony. There was just him and his wife and their kids focusing on their beloved charities, their mother's charities, their grandmother's charities, their father's charities that they believed in, and this baby girl, which like birthing something brand new. And being a king of the people, because he was just walking around the people. He was just walking around and nobody even, you know, it's not that nobody cared, it's that nobody bothered him. People were just happy that they had a king that was just like them. That's what it was like. And now because the king didn't listen, we're not going to have any of that. And the thing is, William is a Cancer, and they're the born empaths. They're the rulers of empathy and nurturing. They make their job. They rule like the mother-father dynamic. The family home. They rule the heart of the home. They rule nurturing and empathy and kindness and sacrifice. They're the nurses, they're the psychologists, they're the therapists, they're the occupational therapists, they're the counsellors. Cancers go into the jobs where they do it because their heart is in it. And Diana said that they would be the king and queen of hearts because they'd actually care and people would see it. And there was none of that protocol stuff. It was just the King and the Queen focusing on the things that mattered to their hearts and the people loving them for it, because it saves them money and they get left alone, and they're the King and Queen of the people because of how she raised them. Oh, bless. And now because of King Charles taking the side of the government and not the people, we're never going to see William be king. Bless him. I think when it comes to William and Harry, most of us over the age of about 45, when they lost their mum, we all instantly became their aunties. We're all very protective of William and Harry. They're our boys too. And we always knew that she was going to produce a brilliant king because she put her heart and soul into her boys. And Harry's the strong one, but William's the loving one. Whether, I don't care what people say on social media, they can go to hell. William wouldn't bow down to Keir. So yeah, it's just sad. Such a shame. But he made his choice, eh? He took his lunch and he didn't sever ties. He took the information, but he didn't follow through. So, yeah, so we'll just wait and see. It makes me sad. Because the royal family are British tradition. When you think of English tradition and you think of Britain, you think of the empire. And to think that it's going to just be gone, like it's just going to go because one person didn't do the right thing, is just sad. Everything his mother sacrificed. All the shit that's been thrown at that poor kid his entire life, him and Harry. And it's going to be for what? Because Keir Starmer needed to hide the fact that there's videotapes of him at Jeffrey Epstein's house doing bad things to children. So whatever it is that comes out, it's bad. So we must brace ourselves, and all I can do is pray that the king is protected. But that'll be why Michael stopped me trying to bandage the wounds. Keep out of it. Just keep out of it. There's nothing more I can do. So anyway, I'm going to go and get my breakfast. I'll speak to you later. We'll see what happens. Ka kite anō. God's the king.